Instagram.
Yeah.
3 minutes late. 3 minutes late.
Hi guys. Okay, we're live on YouTube and on Facebook. So, yay!
Hey!
Hi, reflector friend.
Hi.
Yeah, welcome to Conversations for Clarity. Ooh, I gotta go live on my Instagram. Hold on. Yes. Because that's something new for me. Yay! I'm live on mine too. Welcome to Conversations for Clarity, the fourth Wednesday of January. I'm
It
Stephanie.
is.
I know, it is. I'm Stephanie Joseph, and my business is Soul Aligned Services. And Celeste and I were actually talking before we hopped on. That's why we were a couple minutes late, so we apologize. But just about community, and that's like we're talking about that today. Like all of that is what is dedicated to our fourth week. And so my intro is going to be how excited I am to talk about community.
So
And that's all I'm going to share right now.
I agree. I'm Celeste, also known as Mothering Healing on Facebook and Instagram. And yes, I am so excited about this community and just how we are truly embracing the ability to do things different.
Mm-hmm.
To do things different, to step out of those boxes and those constraints and
Yes.
come from that heart center.
Yes.
Actually tune into what is good for all and not just one.
Yes. So we'll get into the nitty gritty of it. But so where do I want to start? Where do you want to start?
Introduce what we're going to talk about.
So just as a
collaboration.
For those that are joining us new or seeing, what this is, we've been doing these conversations for months now. I don't even know how long because it's been that long.
And long time.
I know. And this new year, we decided to get a little bit more structural flow. And we've last week talked about human design and had an amazing conversation around that. And in fact, we're going to shift it up a little bit and really empower you to be able to look at your own design.
Yes.
And both Celeste and I are very, very passionate about personal empowerment. And even when, when we bring our gifts together and have those conversations, it's not about us telling you how to live your life. And yeah, so this fourth week is to talk about the courtyard, which this sun is really like on me.
It is pretty bright.
Sorry guys, I'm not going to mess with it right now. But we want to invite you all to the courtyard. And we're currently housing the courtyard on Facebook. We probably will stay there for the immediate future. And I'm surrendering to that.
I know, right? I realized I have to make some changes on my Facebook stuff now. And
yeah, we get to surrender, but that's where we're at. I wanted to paint a picture of what the courtyard means to me and invite you into this space. So probably about 4 or 5 years ago, I had a meditation, and it was one like it literally came out on paper, and I drew, it was called The Rising, this beautiful building of gathering. There's events happening. There's a little coffee shop in the front. Outside is a garden. There's birthing studios where women are, healing and spending time actually with their newborn. And we have a fish, we just like this huge community space. And I saw it and I'm like, okay, yeah, I love that. Great. And kind of just put it on the back burner. And over the last couple years, in that time frame, I was also building Village Rising. It shifted names. I was doing free yoga in the park pre-COVID days. And just really to me, community was about honoring the individual in the space of others.
mm-hmm.
And really just accepting yourself, but having others to honor, love you, and see you, really see you. So I actually partnered up with somebody end of 2018 in a community space that they were building for entrepreneurs. And I said, what, imagine this. I'm going to be very visual here. Imagine this courtyard space, think of a college campus. Think of an apartment building, and you have all of these buildings that surround this courtyard, this grassy space. There's usually a fountain in there, there's sidewalks, benches, all of that. And imagine everybody being able to gather into this grassy area, have lunch, have conversations. Maybe you have, this little group over here is talking about human design, and this little group over here is talking about journals and the power of meditation or whatever. And over here, somebody's sharing their own gifts, right? And you just have all these people able to walk through this courtyard and just kind of sample and get to know others in the space.
Mm-hmm.
And you have these buildings on the side that it's like, okay, on a college campus, I majored in sociology. So I spent majority of my time in this, the sociology and social work building. But over here, you have the engineering building, and you have the education building, and all of these things. And you can go in there, they're open. You can see what's going on in there, but you might not spend all your time in the engineering building. You just go in, and maybe they have your friend is putting on an event, something like that. So that's really like, and as I shared that vision with this person, they're like, yeah, that sounds nice. And I was like, oh, okay, I guess this is not the space. And then fast forward 2020, it was like, okay, we're creating this space. Celeste and I met because of community and this shared vision. We did not know each other at the time. And I had posted something about a community, and she's like, I'm in. We met, and we're like, we're in. And we started meeting Sundays through called Imagine. And then anyway, so here we are, that we have created that courtyard space, that space where you can come in, have tea, have lunch, have conversations with anybody and everybody. And we see it, the building side of it, the growth side of it, is that you get to create and really like bring your unique gifts and bring in your and we create that collaborative effort where it's no competition. Like, this is not what's out there.
No.
It's even
a lot of people talk about it.
Yep.
A lot of people talk the talk,
but they don't walk the walk. That when
I haven't seen it yet.
When a trigger happens, or when somebody challenges a belief, it's like, nope, you're right, you're out of the group, or you're on a limited post basis or whatnot. And so we invite you to come into this space with us, because we can't do it alone.
Right.
And each of you have the gifts and the unique authenticity, and just who you are is not like anybody else. And that's the space that we create, or creating.
Yes, and I love it. And my whole journey is kind of a little bit similar. My whole life, not my whole life, but most of my adult life, I've always kind of had this dream of owning a bed and breakfast. I love cooking. I love mothering people. I love taking care of people. And I've always had this dream of someday I'm going to have this bed and breakfast, and I'm just going to be able to cook for people and interact with them and, have them there. And when I went to San Diego and found the Fraternal Spiritualist Church and started my healing journey and getting into all of this more, there's a facility out there called Harmony Grove, a spiritualist group called Harmony Grove. And they have this facility where it's just like that. They have like this common area where they meet. And then they have like this one big meeting hall. And then they have all these other little tiny like shops or buildings on the sides. And they have like this spot for a big bonfire and an open field. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I want this whole thing. Like, this is where I want to be. And I just want to gather with people all the time here. So then my vision started to change from a bed and breakfast to how can I make it a bed and breakfast / meeting gathering facility? So then when we met, I'm like, yes, this is what I want. So we have similar visions.
It was so fascinating to me as I've gotten to know you more, how similar those visions are. And, we do see a physical space. We do see a bonfire. We do see it was in August, I was driving down the canyon, American Fork Canyon. And I was like, I saw just a group of people, like a family, just having, a lunch,
Yep.
or a day. And I was like, oh my God, one Sunday a month, we go there and we just
Right.
live, there's no obligation of time commitment. You don't have to sit through a 3-hour block of meetings.
Nope.
You just come, enjoy the energy of other people, have those, we bring your food, somebody's over here reading a book in a hammock, and just, I was like, okay, that's community.
Separate sidebar conversations. And if you want to join in, you join in. And if not, it's okay.
Yep.
Love it.
Yeah. So with that said, as of course, the Conversations for Clarity is that open forum that we want to invite you guys in to talk with us. So anybody that wants to hop on live, we do have the ability to do that today. And we want to just share, like, maybe we can honor some unique gifts of people, and maybe even share your vision of community and what collaboration means to you, and just like really, like, let's talk about this.
Yep. That would be nice.
Yeah. So for those of you that are listening in, watching in, or if you have questions, let's talk about community.
And in the meantime, what does community mean to you?
What does community mean to me? I love the word that unity is in the word community. And so that really has been what community is to me, that it's we come together in unity, but that doesn't mean that we're all the same. I've been part of organizations where the thought process is encouraged and forced the same thought process. And then if you challenge, I remember I was raised in the LDS faith, and when I got into my teen years, started questioning things. Well, why is this? And I went to people that I trusted and said, I don't agree with this thing. Can you share? And they just said, don't ask questions. That's just the way it is. And imagine, like, at 15 years old, where you have questions and you're curious and you're just told, don't, this is just the way it is. Well, guess what? It started allowing me to question more and be like, well, if they can't tell me the truth on this one thing, then what about this other thing? Well, what about this other thing? Like, all of these things. And so I left that church at 18 and was on a path of self-discovery, of just, questioning God, questioning everything. And I was longing for that community, that unity. And, in my 20s, you found like little tribes, little sections of communities of people. And to me, community can be 2 people, can be thousands and billions of people. But through those communities and through my journey in my 20s, I also started, what's the word? I started being something that I wasn't authentically, because I was trying to fit in. I was still learning, right? 20s is that time of learning, but I was, changing who I was to fit into certain communities and certain spaces. And in my 30s, really like coming back to myself and realizing who I am, and diving into more of, instead of just saying yes to things because I'm expected to say it, just really like yes to me.
Yep.
And like, I'm like, okay, well, now, like, I want to like hear the stories of other people doing the same thing. And I want to, so that's community to me, is the unity. But it first starts with me. It first starts with really like deeply loving myself and accepting myself, instead of looking for outside community to validate who I am.
Right. So important to do that, because everything does start with us. And I think one of the beautiful things that I love about this is that, especially 2020, we've talked about this a few times. 2020 has really, really been about authenticity for me, and about accepting every part of myself and who I am, and learning fully who that person is, and honoring all of it. Not all the parts are easy. Some of them are a little difficult and tricky, but I honor every single one of them and the role that they play. And be doing that for myself allows me to fully engage and do that for others, to just see them for who they are and allow them to be exactly who they are meant to be, and begin to take away all of those layers that society has put on us and telling us who we're supposed to be. It's, you know, we talk about the puzzle all the time. We talk about the puzzle. It's so important. You know, think about that puzzle. It's made that way for a reason. You can take it apart and you have all these glorious pieces, and some of them have beautiful colors, and some of them are just one color, and some of them have, you know, they're all different shapes and sizes. And some of them are very much the same. Like, you do a puzzle and sometimes you put pieces in and they fit perfectly, but then you get two other pieces around it and all of a sudden they don't fit. And you realize, oh, you know, they're very similar, but they still have some differences. There's still something unique about that one piece. And that's how I look at people. Each and every one of us are a unique piece of the puzzle. And when we allow the pieces to come in the way they are, and then we fit them all together, what a beautiful, glorious picture we make, or wonderful, glorious community that we create.
And I love that analogy. I hadn't thought about with the puzzle pieces, that it fits with this one, but then when you put it next to this third one, it doesn't fit. So these two get to go somewhere else over here, but that doesn't mean that that third piece is wrong or that third piece is not perfect. It just means it's in a different part of the puzzle.
Yep.
And I feel like too often we get pressures from society that because you don't fit right here, you're wrong. And we're, I mean, it's playing out right now that if you're not part of this that I'm dealing with, then you are wrong, rather than just saying, okay, each of those people are coming from their own perspective. I'm coming from my own perspective. And am I willing to challenge my own belief patterns? Am I willing to look at the triggers that happen for me? I can only be accountable for myself.
Right.
But it doesn't make me that puzzle piece wrong.
No.
Yeah.
No. Instead, let's just find an area where they fit perfectly and shine the way they're meant to.
Yeah. And so circling that back with the courtyard, that's really the vision of, so collaboration elevated is this bigger concept of collaboration elevated to whatever you want it to be. Celeste and I are doing collaborations. This thing started out as a collaboration, not really knowing what would happen or what would come out of it. And now we're doing, you know, the joint human design gene key sessions. Other things are coming in the works with that. But that's the courtyard, that space, that those two puzzle pieces that fit together right here, you guys get to join together. And maybe there's an opportunity that if you're in business or not even, I mean, just anything, that you guys can work together. And there's not a right or wrong way to do anything. There's unlimited possibilities. So real collaboration elevated means that we're elevating the collaborations. We're elevating working together, and not just like, because I've been part of collaborations where I felt like I was just that, the sidekick, kind of just walking along.
The third wheel.
And I didn't feel like I was being seen. And that also could be my own part, you know, of my own journey of, I wasn't seeing myself either. But that's like, and there's going to be other people in there that is your cup of tea and you love what they have to offer and you gravitate to that. And that's great. And then there'll be this other building over here that you're just like, not mine right now. That's fine. Doesn't mean that that's wrong. Doesn't mean that what they're teaching is not, it's just not for you. And that's totally fine.
You know, I like to use, when I think about this, I like to use mediumship as a reference point. You know, I tell people all the time, I can take 10 of the best mediums and put them in a room of, you know, 200 people. And all of those people are going to be drawn, if they pay attention to their own desires, their heart center, what their soul wants, they're going to be drawn to different people. Not everyone is going to want to go see whoever the number one medium is. And not everyone's going to, you know, want to go see the middle one. They're all going to be drawn to different people for different reasons. And that's the way society is meant to be. Especially, I always felt this, but learning about human design just reinforced it to the 100th percent. because we activate different things in different people. So not everyone is meant to come see me to be their guide. Not everyone is meant to come see me to be their teacher. And that's okay. But I'm willing to have a conversation with you, and I'm willing to help you find out exactly who is the right fit for you. And that's why this community is so important, because it allows everyone to show up exactly who they are and how they are meant to show up. And then allow those interactions to just naturally evolve.
Yeah. Well, like the age-old war of Coke versus Pepsi is popping up, like I was raised a Pepsi fan, or like that's what my family drank. That's what we didn't. Their Coke did not exist. My dad actually drove a Coke delivery truck, which is kind of ironic. But we were the Pepsi family.
That is ironic.
I know. So I thought I was a Pepsi girl, right? And as I have grown up, I love a Coke and whiskey. I don't like Pepsi and whiskey.
Nope, not the same.
One versus all. I do like to crack open a Pepsi and drink it here and there, but when I want my whiskey, I want it with a Coke. It's just that.
And that's okay.
Yes. And at one time in my life, I was a Pepsi girl, and then now that's a Coke girl, and that's fine.
It doesn't have to be either or.
Exactly.
That's the beauty of it. It can be both.
I can be Pepsi one day and Coke the next.
Absolutely. You can.
Or the same setting, mix them together. Yeah. Well, and that was a big aha for me. You and I were having a conversation earlier this week about design, and this isn't new. We're obviously not the first people talking about human design. In fact, the conversations are getting more and more out there, which that's awesome. But it really hit me that, my life's work is around acceptance and love. Yours is totality. Even just how you speak is different than how I speak. And if I'm in alignment with who I am, those that are waiting for my message or my will be attracted to it. I want to really change. I've been attempting to be an entrepreneur for 7 years, dabbling in this, dabbling in that. And I always felt yucky when I would go to marketing events where it was like, find your blue ocean. Who is your avatar? Who, like all of these things. And I would like get frustrated because I would obviously see it works for people, right? There's amazing people that are doing great things, and maybe, people using their status for other things, but it works. But it never felt aligned to me. And diving into my design and understanding Gene Keys and human design, and how it literally just gives me permission to be me, that I don't have to be the Tony Robbins type, getting on stage, screaming at everybody.
Yep.
I can be my quiet acceptance self that genuinely see and love people for where they're at and who they are. And that it's not like, it's been so interesting, and to be able to, and here's the cool thing, is design is you, right? You don't have to work your design. You just be you.
Just are.
You just are it.
Yeah. Yeah. And you not falling in line with the avatar and everything else doesn't mean you're broken. Yeah. Doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you. It means that you felt in your soul it wasn't right for you because that wasn't your design.
Exactly.
And that's what we want to help people discover. Just because you don't fit in the same avatar scenario that someone else does doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you.
When I was even like an avatar, it's interesting because in the Courtyard, so part of my vision of the Courtyard is, that we'll be talking using human design as a tool, because it is a powerful tool of giving you permission. And so I was like, we'll have these little people with the G's running around and the P's running around, because we want, like, if you're in business and you're marketing like a generator and you're a projector, oh, you're going to live a life of bitterness, and if you're a generator trying to market like a projector, just throw it out there and just wait for somebody to come and ask them, you're going to be frustrated,
Right.
And so, like, there will be specific conversations geared towards like relationships and family and how to, possibly navigate this interesting relationship if it's a generator versus with a projector, just throwing out examples. But I don't know where I was going with that.
The avatars.
The avatars. Oh, yes. But I remember like when I was learning marketing in this avatar and I was filling out papers and I was like, this person I want to work with is not a cartoon avatar. Like they're a genuine person. And so I shifted it and I started naming them, and it wasn't find your perfect avatar. It was find your Stephanie. And because I'm like, I want to work with people like me that are passionate about, authenticity and passionate about making a difference and passionate about these things. And so then I started visualizing what Stephanie was to me. And then of course other names popped up of, just different. And so then it became more aligned and they were actual people rather than a little character
running around.
But I'm excited about I'm going to find.
I love your discovery process. It's beautiful.
Through generator fashion, respond.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. I love it.
Yeah. So anyway, we're rambling. If there's anybody that wants to join us, we would love to have you because we're just kind of.
And if you're just listening to the recorded version of this and you want to share something with us after, then please do also, because we would love to hear. We love getting that feedback.
Yeah. And if you are listening to the record, we'll put the links to the Courtyard, but it's easy to find when you go to Facebook groups. It's the Courtyard Collaboration. And it's a little baby right now. It's growing and
it is a little baby, but it's going to get bigger and bigger.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. It's fun. So, So tell me I want to hear more about the community that you were in California, because I know that has played a lot into your vision.
Well, I didn't have a lot to do with I only visited it once. So the Harmony Grove, I just visited. It was a spiritualist community that I visited and took a hike around, and it had a fire, I want to say 3 or 5 years before I moved there. So it wasn't as up and running as it was in past years. But just you could see and you could feel, you know what I mean? All of the beauty that was created there and happened. And they still do, I think once a month, they still hold like a psychic fair, craft fair type thing in the space, but it could be so much more. And I just love the whole thought of all of it. And like you and I have talked about, you have this one big gathering space where you get together and meet and talk about things and share. But then you have all these separate little buildings where one can be like, come get some energy healing and come get a mediumship reading and come over here and let's talk about crystals. And hey, let's talk about intuitive eating over here in this, I just love it. It's just, that's what I want. You know what I mean? That's what I envision.
Yeah. And I also have this idea, like it will be a physical space where we're putting it out there. We'll be supported and guided into that. But if you're walking down the street or you're passing by and you just feel this emotion of love, that you just walk in and say, I don't even know why I came in here. And I've had dreams about it. And we just say, we know why you're here. Come on in.
Yep.
Like chills like that, because here's the thing, I know I follow a lot of post-Mormon people. At one time I did actually have a course out there that was supporting those that were leaving religion, because I felt so much heartache and shame that, just where do I go from here? Especially if you've dedicated your life to a community and it's not in alignment with you. And in going through that course, it's not active, it's not out there, because I realized that it was just a stepping stone. But what the basis of it is instead of blowing down the whole building, you just look at the individual bricks, the individual beliefs, the individual components of it, and just take it and see if it resonates with you. And if it doesn't, let it go. And if it needs to maybe change colors or whatever, you're just physically just changing it one by one instead of just letting everything go. And like one thing that, and I'm bringing that up because it is very important to me that when you walk into this space, when you step into this space, that you won't feel a sense of shame or guilt or all these things like that. You know, I've witnessed in
Lack of worth.
and yeah, not like you will come in, and then as you're processing it and you're bringing into your space some, you know, something that you believe, you won't have somebody be throwing daggers at you. You know, there might be somebody triggered in there, 100%. There
Yep.
might be. And in fact, that actually came up. Like I was talking to Sakari, she's part of our group, and we were talking yesterday. He said, there will be triggers. I will be triggered. And let's create a space that we can actually have a conversation around that trigger. Instead of just saying, you know, like we've talked about, you know, part of our collaboration is working with board members and getting into corporations and having conscious board meetings. Because how different would your experience be at, like, say you're in a corporate job where you're in a meeting and somebody says something and you get triggered, and instead of just internalizing it and taking it, and maybe you're talking about it over here with somebody else and blah, 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 you're able in that meeting to say, hey, wait, I'm triggered. Can we talk about this? It doesn't have to be anything woo-woo, fancy, whatever. It's just, I'm triggered. Can we talk about it?
Right. Let's figure out why. Let's break out the human design and gene keys and
yes. Or just simply process it rather than shoving it down, but we actually take time to process where that trigger came from and realize that it has nothing to do with the person itself. It was a belief. I'm actually diving deep right now into gene keys. I'm in a retreat and we're talking about the IQ, which is intellectual quotient. And it's all about where our beliefs are triggered and understanding that when you get that trigger, that frustration, or that initial reaction, that body reaction to something somebody else says or does, it's a trigger of your belief. It's not against you. It's a belief that gets to be looked at.
Mm-hmm. A belief and a lesson. Yeah. We had the reflector group that I'm one of them that I'm part of. There was a question that was posted about this person's having a really hard time because they hate to open their mouth. And that's how they said it. They said, I hate to talk because it feels like almost every time I talk, I'm triggering someone. And then they're all mad at me and I'm this awful person. And, you know, and I responded and they were asking for feedback on how other reflectors have dealt with it in their lives. And I agreed. I said, most of my life growing up, it was hard because so many times in my life, I've said something and someone has like taken the complete 360 feeling on my intent in the words that I spoke. You know what I mean? And I was left thinking, oh my gosh, how could you think that that's what I meant when I said that? You know what I mean? And I said to them, I said, it's beautiful. I said, now that's my job. You know, that is our job as reflectors, is to trigger people around us, to awaken them to their lessons and the journeys that they're on. You know what I mean? That's what we do as energy beings. So I told them, I said, I decided to just be a coach. And that's the best way, right? I said, that's my job. I tell my clients all the time, all right, let's see what we can trigger today and work through. You know?
It's like making lemonade out of lemons, right? Not saying that the reflector, it's taking your gifts and doing something with it. And
I totally can see and understand why so many reflectors live a very docile life by themselves. You know what I mean? Because it is hard to deal with sometimes. It is hard to have people not understand. You know what I'm saying? And not understand what a trigger is and what it's meant for. And that it isn't anything about them, but it's something that they just need to grow through and just look at.
But here's my life's work of love. How awesome is it that you also get to trigger the high vibrational frequencies of people?
Absolutely.
You're also a walking beacon of, oh, like I'm feeling good. You're really in alignment. I love this. Like,
yep. it just makes it stronger. Yeah. It emphasizes it. It's beautiful.
That's awesome. So yeah, so we're talking about the Courtyard. It's our group on Facebook, and we
Just launched it last week.
We just launched it. We launched with the Rave New Moon. And we have today, so we're doing daily themes, and today's about movement. We think it's really important to be moving our bodies and loving our bodies and just that. But that's another thing, like I'm super excited about is I've been in groups, communities where it's about weight loss. It's about, this new year, new you, like all of this, like
Love yourself.
Yeah. And I'm really excited to be exploring this movement as a fuel for the soul. And like we're talking about lifestyle. I think tomorrow is lifestyle, and it's about like intuitive eating. It's about trusting your body. It's about having water that actually like feeling it go through your whole blood, like that type of stuff. And it's not about body image. It's not about body shaming, and because does it really matter?
Nope.
No.
We want everyone to show up exactly who they are.
Yeah.
And if you are already part of the Courtyard and you're listening to this recording, please know that we truly are sitting here waiting to hear your interactions. We want you to jump in there and share. We want you to, let us know how you move. We want you to let us know how you meditate, and just don't be shy. This community is created for you. So don't feel like you have to sit back and just that you don't have something to share, because everyone has something to share. And that is what is going to make the community strong, is everyone sharing.
Absolutely. Yeah.
We want to see all of you.
All of you. Yes. In fact, I was actually being with it, and it hit me. So we've been meeting on Sundays with a group called Imagine, the similar concept, but just people coming together and having real conversations. And it stayed intimate throughout the whole year. It was really lovely that we went on to Zoom, and we were able to, it's a global community. It's pretty fascinating how it grew. And I also, so in my cocoon year of 2020 of realizing, so I'm an individual circuitry and the tribal circuitry. I don't have any collective circuitry in me, and we'll talk about that in there. But it's not up to me to grow. And this is could possibly sound, I'm just going to say it's not up to me to grow this to the collective level.
Right.
It's up to all of us. So like I'm good at holding space. My genius is in that tribal, the family unit, the 3 to 15 people. That's the yumminess for me. But what I also see is in that the little tribes then expand out into the collective, and then we are making changes on a collective level. But each of you, that's why it is so important that you come in and bring your unique self into that space, because it takes all of us to build that big puzzle piece and to really just be with creating a world of love.
I'm going to go back to the puzzle.
I love the puzzle.
Gave me another great analogy, because that is the beauty in everyone finding what is their strength. We truly want to find what everyone's light is and what makes them shine. Because even in doing puzzles, I just finished telling this to my mother. She's working on a really hard one right now. Like, I don't know if I would want to sit there and do it. It's kind of frustrating. I just go in and fix her pieces, help her out. But I literally told her, I'm like, you know what, Mom, this one's really hard. Don't follow just the outer edges like you usually do. Take these little sections, these ones that look like they belong together and they're going to make this bench, and put them together. And take this little section, the one that looks like it's going to be this shelving unit, and put those together, and then see what you can grow from there. And it's the same thing with this. Not everyone is going to be that collective. Some people need to focus on what's good for them, and then they'll help the others. Some need to be part of that little tight-knit community, those 3 to 15s, and we're going to have those. But we're also going to have the huge collective that can be parts of all of it.
Yeah. there was, it slipped my mind, but as you were talking about that puzzle piece, I'm gonna kind of sit with it and allow it to come back, because doing things different, oh shoot, I don't know, it'll come back. It'll come back.
Not doing the puzzle the normal way.
Not doing the puzzle the normal, well, that's a big part of it, like really not doing the puzzle the normal way. Because it's kind of like, what's that saying? You can't fix a problem with the solution that created the problem, something along those lines. And, when we talk about, dabble a little bit into what's going on collectively, and, to really create the bridges and to bring sides together, we've got to do it differently than what created the problem in the first place.
Yes.
And we are supported so much from the universe, from, divine source, God, whatever that is for you. We are so supported to do it differently. And, I feel like, I think we talked about this a few weeks ago about, stepping into this Aquarius age of innovation. And, and you look back at building our country, we went through building our current world. We had to have the farming and agriculture, and then we had to have the industrial age. And then we went through the big boom with the technology. And now it's really like innovation. It's like really shifting the way things are done, that like I see in the community trade, that it's not just a financial trade, that there's bartering, like there's different, you go back to the long time ago, they didn't trade with the dollar. They traded with fur, and they traded with medicine, and they traded with all these things, because all of those things hold value, and your gifts have value. And, it's not fair for somebody to put a dollar figure on those values, but you personally can say, hey, this is worth this. And I mean, like, let's really.
It's all an energy exchange.
It is. It is
all energy, whether it's money or anything else. It's all energy.
It is. It is. And we're open to that. And so doing things differently. I follow, obviously, Gene Keys is a big thing, and Richard Rudd, for any of you, he does a lot of YouTube videos, and he talks a lot about synergy, and talks a lot about real, true prosperity, not just from, a financial abundance, physical money abundance, but real prosperity, having your needs met and more, but having everyone's needs met and more.
Exactly.
I'm very hopeful, and I believe in that vision, and I believe in communities like this to take it to that level. There's people that are starving, and there's people that do not have roofs over their heads, and yet there's billions of dollars sitting in.
Someone posted something, and I was going to try to see if I could find a way to see if it was true or not. So I have no idea if this is true. But someone posted something the other day that said, if you took, I think it was 10% from the top, 8% of the wealthiest people in the country, if you took 2%, there would be enough money to get everyone in the world completely out of poverty and totally self-sustained and able to, it was like hundreds of thousands of dollars, and they would still be billionaires.
And it wasn't even touching the people that were only of 1 billionaire people.
No, it wasn't, none of them. This was like your top whatever. And I'm like, wow. Like, do they not realize? I'm like, I just want to shake these people and say, why don't you guys get together and save everyone? It doesn't have to be like this.
Well, and it goes back to right now that you said to save everyone, like it's not up to them to save us.
Right.
It's up to us to shift it, and it's going to happen. There is conscious wealthy people. And I've said this before, and I will say it time and time again. I would rather have Mother Teresa with $1 billion, or Gandhi with $1 billion, or you name any service, the people that fit in that category, versus the Jeff Bezos. and I'm even going to say Trump, I would rather have the $1 billion sitting with those people and what they would do with that versus what some of the ones that currently have that.
Right.
I would bet money on it.
Right.
That there you would see social change. I mean, there's ventures that are happening right now that's social impact, where it's angel investors are willing to invest in companies and the return is social impact rather than market share and rather than, that's brilliant. It's happening.
Us.
Yeah.
What we'll be doing.
Yes. Yes.
Absolutely.
Because it's not on my watch that I want to see somebody starving to death or a child not.
I mean, right. There definitely should not be, I mean, I'm sorry, but there should not be people not eating.
Correct.
You know, there should not be children wondering where they're going to get a warm meal or clothes, a coat to put on to stay warm, or it shouldn't be. I'm sorry. It just shouldn't be.
Yeah. So that's big, like going back to what I was saying with like the synergy and the synarchy, that like really we come together, people come together, change happens.
Yes.
Be the change you wish to see in the world. That happens. One person alone is, I mean, well, if you want to get into the nitty gritty, we are all divine beings, divine God, but one person alone gets to impact this area. But we come together, we bring those puzzle pieces together and doing it. That's what we see. That's the vision of the community.
Absolutely.
Global community.
And we are very excited about it.
Well, we just spent
it is a global community. We already have people from all around the world. And I love it. And I just want it to grow and grow and grow.
And for those that are in there, I want to hear from you. Like, where are you from? What impacts do you see in your community, in the areas that you're, that you're physically living? I have this vision of like a map, and we put little, like,
fun.
It drops. I think you can do this digitally. I'm actually going to look into it now, but we can create this map and little lights of where everybody is.
That's awesome.
And how I want to see that light grow. Like, here's a snapshot of January.
Oh, I just got goosebumps watching the light grow and get bigger, bigger and stronger.
It's like, I remember, I would have to dig back. Steve, one of our mutual friends, sent me a text or a vid, something, I can't remember now. I got to be with it, but it was called Billion. I think it was Billion Lights.
Yeah.
It was like that concept of, the individual lights create the billion.
Awesome. Yeah. No, that's awesome.
That's gonna be fun to see. A little, like, this my project management hat right now, but that tracker, like everybody see the health of where we're at, but they see that. A little light.
No, that'd be fun. I like it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, so that's what we have coming up, and we're so excited about it.
Yes.
Maybe give them a recap of what we do on Wednesdays every week.
Do a recap if I can remember the order. You're better at that than me.
I tried the other day because I was going to make separate events for like the first Wednesday of the, you know what I mean? The second, and so that we could say what it was about, and I couldn't remember.
Okay, I could try. The first week, so next week, we're going to just have a general conversations for clarity, going back to what we did for the first initial month. Okay. Just conversation, talk new moon.
All right, yeah.
You guys to call in, don't leave us hanging. We want to have those conversations. Yep. Week 2 is flip your words, flip your life.
Yep.
You want to mention what that is?
That is an Abraham Hicks style session. I do this event once a month on the 4th Friday of every month. And it's just a forum where we talk about different issues and what's going on, and see if we can't change your perspective to get you in alignment with what you truly want to bring in and create in your life.
Yeah. We'll flip your words, flip your life. That'll be fun. And then the 3rd week is human design.
And Gene Keys.
We did a couple readings last week, and we also felt like we realized we're going to be saying almost the same things every week. So what we invite you all to do is get your own charts, and I can provide links, but get your own human design and gene key chart. And what we're going to do for that 3rd week is we'll probably do a couple readings, but also have a focus of something to look at the chart, so then we can walk you guys through and empowering yourself to be able to look at your chart and
learn more about it.
Learn more about it, and what really like the roadmap and the blueprint of who you are. So that will be fun. And then the 4th week, we're going to talk about the courtyard. And I had it while we were even talking, this idea of bringing the collaboration in here. So having people from the courtyard join us and start sharing what they do. And we can have a space for that, to invite them in to talk about who they be.
Yeah, that is beautiful. Feels good to me.
Okay, good. I figured you would.
I love it.
So you can find us, the Courtyard, on Facebook. I'll put the link in the notes, and it's on my Instagram in my profile. It'll be on Celeste shortly.
Yes.
A link there. And you can find it, the Courtyard Collaboration. If you just search for it, you'll see it there. And just stay tuned, because here's the thing, I guess my last, I wouldn't call it a plea, but my invite is, this community is for you, for me, for all of us. It's unique, and it gets to be different because of the contributions of the members and the contributions of those in there. So we invite you to see the big vision of what we're creating, to trust yourself, to really, embrace your authentic gifts. If you have something to share with the community, do not hide, and do not shy away from because of fear of what you've experienced in other groups. We can't say it enough that we do want to create that space of collaboration, and you get to bring what you bring.
You get to bring your authentic, unique self.
Yes. So we're always open. Obviously, you can message any of us if you have questions while you're in there. But just trust yourself. If intuition tells you to share something, share it, because I can promise you, there's the one, and we talked about this, elevating the one. There's the one in there that's gonna get that message and be like, thanks. That's right. What I need, because we're all connected. We all have the ability to impact each other through that connection, and you never know why that hit came to you or that insight came to you. So share it, please.
Please. Beautiful. Well, as always, thank you everyone for joining us. And we're here every Wednesday, 12 o'clock Mountain Standard Time. And even though we have our themes that we're following, we want you to know if there's anything particular that you'd really like to hear us talk about, or you need a perspective on, don't be shy. Just shoot us a DM or an email, and we'll be happy to do what we can to fit it in.
Yes, absolutely. All right. Well, take care.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great week.